washing. I wanted to hit on the pressure washing tonight. I don't have a great place at the hotel that I'm at, so I'm going to just come here and kind of give you some thoughts of what do I think is going to happen with the pressure washing business. What do I think is going to change? And how do I believe that people can still start and grow pressure washing businesses in 2025? That's what I want to hit on a little bit. Again, I feel like a lot of times people don't always, and if you, I see I got some people on here. If you can hear me, let me know. I'm not 100% sure that my audio is good, but I'm hoping it is. So that's kind of where I want to be at. But again, I just want to hit on some things of what do I think in 2025, whether you can start and grow a pressure washing business, can you grow one in 2025? And my answer would be yes, I think you can. So with that, I want to hit on this week. You know, we were in Texas and where all the bad floods were. We were actually about 20 minutes from there. Where all the bad floods come into the Canyon Lake is actually where we were staying at. So it's pretty crazy that the flooding that they've gotten out there. It rained all weekend while we were there at my sister-in-law's, and so that was where we were at. And so, you know, definitely keep the prayers involved in for the side of those people in, you know, the Texas area. They got hit pretty hard. There's a bunch of people that have went missing and they're still missing them. And so, like I said, I was only about 20-30 minutes away from where most of that happened. We were actually downriver, the Guadalupe River, where it's Canyon Lake, where everything dumps into. So we went there, and the lake was way down. Like I've got some pictures, and I mean it's down like 30-40 feet, maybe even more. But by the time we were leaving, it had come up almost to the boat ramps. Most of the boat ramps are completely out of the water right now because it's been that dry out there. So it was kind of crazy to see what we got to do there. So that's kind of where I was at. We're actually headed back home-ish. We'll be back home this week, and I can't wait to get working on my building and get it all set up so that way we can keep growing. So one of the things I want to hit on tonight is, again, my book of the week. I'm still listening to it again with my book of the week. I highly recommend this book. You should read this book. You should take action on this book, and that is The Customers, Endless Customers. So great book by Marcus Sheridan. I promise you will learn a lot. So one of the questions that, if you have questions, please ask the questions. I love answering your all's questions too. But this is one thing that came up this week in my mentorship group, and these are people that, you know, are anywhere from $100,000 to over $1 million. And one of the big things is getting reviews. With AI coming, reviews are super important. This is where AI is getting a lot of that information from, not just you saying how awesome you are, but it's also telling you about how the people, you know, it's also ways that other people, and that trust is built hugely. And I feel like a lot of times people try to do the reviews as easy and fast as they can and not put the effort into it. And the problem with that is, you know, they'll set up Responsibid, or they'll set up Jobber, and they'll set up Marquette, and maybe it'll send a text, maybe it'll send, maybe it will send a, you know, a couple emails. And what I see a lot of time is you really got to ask for that review before that, right? We really got to ask the review at the beginning of the job. We need to ask the review at the estimate. We need to ask for the review at the beginning of the job. And we definitely need to make sure that we're asking for the review and keeping it real simple of take your phone and get the QR code. I don't care if it's a business card. I know some people have business cards with a QR code, whether it's the big cards that I usually show, because you have to make this simple for your people. Because What you're also going to find out is a lot of times they don't have Google or they don't have Gmail, and so then that's the problem that they run into is when you not have that, then now we're not able to get that review. And so that's why a video review, right? Even AI, you can transcribe this video review, you can have AI go read it through it, you can put it on your website, and these are all things that are going to help you get more customers. One of the biggest things that I see people get wrong is when they're at the job, they're not taking video. They're not doing the 5 rounds. They're not putting up the yard signs because they're in such a hurry to get to the next job. But what you have to realize is you already have that job. Your goal is, especially if you're a one-man truck and you're on the one-man band and you don't have nobody else doing marketing and stuff, this is why it is important that we are always marketing and we're doing our 5 rounds. We're asking for those 5 reviews. We're getting photos, we're getting pictures. We're trying to get everything we can so we can get that next customer. Because if we don't try to get that next customer, what happens is you're going to slow down, especially this time of the year. You know, I see so many people, they'll sit there and they'll try to, you know, get more business, and it's like you losing the business that you already have. And so that's my whole point that I wanted to hit on tonight is you really got to get those 5-star reviews. Right now, AI is hitting hard on these 5-star reviews. The other place that I would highly recommend you to get a 5-star reviews, and I hate this place as much as anywhere else, is Yelp, because Yelp is owned by Microsoft. Microsoft is owned by or owns LinkedIn. Microsoft owns the same company owns ChatGPT, and so that's where they pull all that data. That's another reason why LinkedIn is a great tool to start working on in your business. You know, one of the things that you can do with LinkedIn is write articles. You can write posts. You can comment on other people's stuff. You can go do things for these people. And these are things that really are going to set you apart and to help you not only get residential work, but get commercial work also. Because it's important that we do these things so that way we keep getting the next job. You know, I know sometimes with pressure washing, we get into this mode of, I don't have time for this, I don't have time for that. But these are the things that are going to set you apart and keep you moving your business forward. These are the things that are going to keep you getting more and more jobs in your pressure washing business. I see this over and over and over where people don't do these things and don't go after their 5-star reviews. They don't do their 5 rounds. They don't do their posting. And then the next thing they know is you know, I'm going out of business because I don't have business. And here's what I want to say, one other thing. People worry about their competition so much, and what they don't realize is yes, there may be new competitors coming into the business, but I will about promise you there's that many going out of the business, right? Because they can't get business. They bought these $20,000, $30,000 rigs, and yet they can't get business. And so that's not what I want you to do. I want you to be successful. You know, the reason why I teach you to charge the higher pricing and to do the higher pricing is because I want you to stay in business. A lot of people think, well, I'll just be cheap and I won't go out of business that way. And you'll be the first one out of business, because when we're cheap, we can't make money. So with that, I'd like to hear some of your guys' questions. I don't know how long I'm going to be on here, but if you guys ask questions, I will be on here longer. And so I would like to hear some of your questions, so that way this can be a Q&A and it's not just an A, right? So, but one of the things also is, what are you doing to work on your business? What are some things that you are doing to work on your business? Not in your business, but on your business. A lot of times we get into the truck mode and we like that mode. You know, I got a friend, Spencer, he's doing very well. He should hit $1 million this year. And he's coming off the truck, right? He's transitioning from truck guy to off the truck. And this can be a very hard spot because a lot of times we don't always know what to do when we're coming off of the truck. Because when we're on the truck and we're spraying, it gives us satisfaction, right? We see something dirty, now we clean it, and that's all we do, right? And so sometimes we don't always have that satisfaction of not cleaning these trucks or cleaning the houses, getting off the truck, because we might be working on a marketing thing. But here's the thing. When we're working on the truck, that's a $20 an hour task. I can pay anybody 20 bucks an hour to run the truck. But when we're working on that marketing task, that might be $1,000 an hour task. Me making a post, me making a picture, a video, any of these things are going to be what's going to help me grow my business in the end. It's going to help you grow your business. It's not going to help me. It's going to help you grow your business. And that's the important part of why we need to really look at this and why we need to really make sure that we are working on the business and not always in the business. A lot of times we can get stuck in it, and we got work for 4, 5, 7, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and we're booked out for 3 weeks, and we're like, well, I ain't got time to do marketing, Jason. And that's the time you definitely have to do for marketing. Now, I know this is usually a question that gets asked a lot. When is the slow time of pressure washing? The slow time of pressure washing is going to start slowing down now, right? If you haven't done your marketing, if you haven't done the things that you needed to do. Right now, between now and the end of the 1st of September, it usually slows down. Now this year, for a lot of my guys, hasn't slowed down as much. And I think some of that is because people aren't traveling as much this year. I feel like there is still a lot of people traveling, but I also feel like a lot of people aren't traveling this year. And so they're spending money on their house, which is a good thing for you because that means you will be able to make that money for you. So again, I know I'm just in the car here tonight. I just wanted to hit on this real quick of some things that you can do. Make sure you're getting your reviews. Man, they are so important. Reviews are huge in 2025. Huge. The AIs are going out there and getting that information, pulling that information. You know, they mean, and it's not just you saying how awesome you are, right? These are all things that are going to help you grow your business. Hey Jason, when roof washing, I've seen some clay tile lose its color. How can we prevent that? There's not really a way that we can prevent that. Obviously, if we're hitting it with a surface cleaner or something like that, I know some people do. I don't know if you are. Soft washing can help with that, just spraying it on there, rinsing it off. But there's not a whole lot we can do with that. It's just, you know, the nature of the beast. It should be okay, but that's just something that, you know, we have to look at and be able to see. Quite a bad season so far. I don't know what to tell you, Lindy. I think one of the things is staying focused. You know, when we, and I've hit on this a bunch here. When we, even between pressure washing and Christmas lights, sometimes I feel like we get our focus off one way or the other. And so it is definitely something that we need to focus on one thing, because what you water grows. And it doesn't matter if I'm trying to water pressure washing and Christmas lights, then nothing grows, right? Because I can only do so much with my time. I can't do everything with my time. And when I'm thinking about Christmas lights over here now in July, which I'm not thinking about pressure washing, because right now I'm thinking about, all right, so Christmas lights, I need to start putting these up in October. I need to send out these emails. I need to send out these texts. I need to call them. And I'm not thinking about pressure washing of, I need to call my property managers. I need to walk in and see what my property manager are doing. I have a networking about these property managers. What, what do I need to do with my commercial work for, or my residential work? What do I need? Do I need to send out some phone calls? Do I need to make those phone calls? And I know I'm always preaching pressure washing and Christmas lights, but the more that I see people focus on one or the other versus trying to do both, I'm not saying that we can't do both. I'm just saying the people that I see focus on Christmas lights absolutely kill it on Christmas lights. People that just focus on maybe roof cleaning or pressure washing absolutely can kill it in that. And so because if I'm thinking about Christmas lights all year long and I'm marketing Christmas lights all year long, then it's going to grow. Same way with pressure washing, right? I need to be focusing on pressure washing come November, December, January, and February. But if I'm hanging Christmas lights, I'm not reaching out to those property managers. I'm not sending texts to those property managers. I'm not walking into those property managers. I'm not writing blog posts about my pressure washing business. I'm not writing Facebook posts about my pressure washing business because I'm writing them about my Christmas light business. And so this is where I see people get into a little bit of, when you're doing this, you really need to make sure that you keep both of them. In my mentorship group, I always talk about my 6-month marketing plan, right? What is your 6 month? I always like to come up in July. What is your 6-month marketing plan for the next 6 months? What are you going to do in your pressure washing business and in your Christmas light business? Do you have a Facebook page for pressure washing and Christmas lights, or is it all matched together? Because if it's all matched together, that means I'm not focusing on either one. I'm focusing on both, and it's kind of a big ball of wax that is the day about Christmas lights or is the day about pressure washing. And so that's why we need to have our own Facebook for my pressure washing and my own, and one for Christmas lights. I need to have a YouTube channel on my own Facebook or on my own Christmas lights and my pressure washing business. I need to have a TikTok of my own pressure washing and my thing here. And I'm actually doing it myself, right? TikTok is kind of me and my pressure washing is what I'm going to do. I'm going to start a new TikTok that's going to be all about Christmas lights, because I was thinking about it today. As I was thinking about this here, I'm like, I'm splitting this up into one, and it really needs to be two different ones. It needs to be pressure washing and Christmas lights. And so that's what we need to do to be able to make sure that we are marketing it to the full extent of making sure that both pressure washing is getting full attention, same way with Christmas lights. Because in November, we need to be talking about our pressure washing business. And I know we're butthole deep into Christmas lights, and we're not thinking anything about pressure washing. But then when January comes and February comes, we're not making any money right then, because we didn't focus on those other things that are going to make us grow and get business. So that's what I wanted to hit on. Appreciate your response. Thank you. Thanks for the question. I really do appreciate the question. I like questions. If y'all got any more questions, definitely put them in here. And right now I'm only on my pressure washing channel because I'm on my phone, and that's why I'm not, I am talking a little bit about Christmas lights. If you're not doing Christmas lights, there is some great money to be made in Christmas lights. The Dallas class is coming up. It is going to be awesome. It's going to talk not just about how to do Christmas lights, how to market Christmas lights, how to use AI for Christmas lights, but also how to get commercial jobs, how to get 6-figure commercial jobs. So that is definitely something that if you haven't saw that, you might want to go check out christmaslights.io/IPT. And I am planning on having an in-person pressure washing class in probably late August, 1st of September. I'm going to try to do it in late August is my goal. So if anybody wants to learn how to do pressure washing, it'll be a 2-day class. Um, and I might even try to get it down to 1 day. I don't know if I can get enough marketing and AI, because honestly, the pressure washing is the easy part of business. I want you all to know how to do marketing. I want you to learn how to do AI. I want you to become the best marketer out there, because you can be the best pressure washer out there and you'll be a broke one. But if you're the best pressure or marketer out there, you'll be the richest pressure washing company out there, because we can market the crap out of our business, but if we can't market our business, you can be the best pressure washer you ever had, and I promise you, you'll be broke, because it's not about that. It's about how do we market our business? How do we make sure that our business is the number one thing? Yes, too much going on. So again, when we get our focus so spread, I talked to Daniel this week, and Daniel actually had a big job that he had to go quote at a hospital. And if he wasn't focusing on Christmas lights all year long, he would have never got that lead. So that is the importance of us focusing, because it's like target shooting, right? When you're looking down there and you're aiming, if you're just shooting around everywhere, you're not going to hit anything. But when we can sit there and put it on the target and hit that target, it is definitely going to hit right where the bullseye. Have you heard of these home concierge companies? Middleman to book your services for the homeowner. Not a fan, but they are high-end customers though. Well, you might want to become one, sounds like. um, I mean, right? Because people they don't want, it takes time and they just want it done. And they would rather pay somebody just to get it done. And basically, you're becoming a um, a general contractor, basically what you're doing, because then you get your contacts of those people and you know who can do this and who can do that, and then you make money off of those people too a lot of times. So I have heard of them. We don't have many around our area. We do have a few. I know there's a bunch down in Florida, because you got a lot of the Airbnbs, you got different places like that. So that's where you want to try to go find out more information on it, maybe find out more information on that company, get them on LinkedIn, let them know that you're the best of the best, and that way they can do it. In fact, I know one that did a landscape lighting job, and he went in as a cheap bid, and he's like, I don't want that cheap bid, because he makes a percent off of everything he sells. So he actually wanted the highest price, because then he gets a percentage of what he sells. And so you gotta be, you kind of got to be in that spot of, we're not about the cheapest price, because he went in being the cheapest price and he got screwed. So he found out that he was the highest price that he was taking, because he got a percentage of every job that he sold through that percentage wise. So the higher the ticket was, the more money he made. And so sometimes we don't always think about things like this. And so this is why it's important that we ask the right questions, that we make sure that the right questions are getting asked, so that we can find out that it isn't about the cheapest bid. You know, we think, and our mindset thinks a lot of times, that people are for the cheapest bid. And that's not the case. A lot of times that is not the case. So, but again, it is something that you may want to look at and figure out of, how can I find more of these guys? What can I do to find more of these guys? Because we like those guys. we like when people want to give us a lot of money, right? That is a good thing, that we want. So, but other than that, any other questions? Um, Again, King of Pressure Wash tomorrow night. I will be on Monday Night Marketing. I'm going to talk about LinkedIn. I'm going to go in depth on LinkedIn. One of our members was asking if I could go in depth on LinkedIn and talk about how to use LinkedIn. I'm hoping that I can have computer access so I'll be able to share my screen, and I'm going to break it down for you on LinkedIn. What do you need to do with LinkedIn? And that's what, because when my members ask for certain things, I'm going to give it to them, right? I want them to be successful. I want you all to be successful in growing your LinkedIn. I want to show you how to find property managers, how to reach out to property managers, how to use Sales Navigator, how to do LinkedIn. Because if you're not LinkedIning it, you're missing out. You're really missing out a huge opportunity, because LinkedIn is definitely something that is huge for your business. I have a person who wants me to do the residential work under their name. Gotcha. So they want you to do the work. And I did this in my own business, and this is one reason why none of my vehicles were lettered. I didn't have no wraps on any of my vehicles there at the end, because we did do a lot of work for other people. And so that's how we got away with doing that work, because they didn't want us to be advertising to their customer. So that's how we were able to get that work, is because we didn't have our vehicles lettered all up and everything. We had our company logo shirts, but other than that, that's it. He's huge, but they are turning down residential for commercial work. And that's the thing, right? A lot of people, the commercial is really where it's at. If you really want to make $500,000 to $1 million, it's in the commercial work. DJ's working on one right now that could be a $500,000 contract by the end of it. And so it's important that we start. And is it easy to get these? No. He's had to go through 57 hoops, jump through 150 things with paperwork, and he's still not done yet. And he gives paperwork, it gets rejected. And so it's definitely something that is not easy, but things are always on the other side of hard, and you can do hard things, right? You can do hard things, and good things are on the other side of hard. So if it was always easy, then we wouldn't have anything that we need to do. We would never do any hard things. But the hard things is what makes us better, and it's what makes us figure it out and be able to grow our business in the end. So with that, I'm going to jump off here. I thank you all for showing up. If you want to go check out King of Pressure Wash, if you need any marketing, I have some stuff on there. Every Monday night I do a live. I have my membership. If you want to join my membership, you can definitely check it out. I have all the videos in there, a ton of videos in there, how to grow your business, how to start looking at your business. And every Monday night we do a Zoom call at 9 o'clock Eastern time, where it's Q&A. I give about 10 to 15 minutes about marketing, and then it's about an hour and a half of just coaching and helping people grow their business. It's awesome to see people like Daniel's in there, people like Sean's in there. A lot of awesome people are in there. So with that, hope you all have an amazing week this week. Go be great, right? Go be great this week. Go do great things, because you are awesome and you can do great things. So with that, I'll see you all